Okay, Vortex. Briefly, I'm going to talk about this. We'll see about that. When I was in high school, especially middle school, but also high school, I was such a negative person. And I was really insecure. And it was really, really hard for me to see the lighter side of anything. And I thought that taking an antidepressant would help, but it did not. It did the exact opposite. Holy shit, it is so cold. But, you know, I had people that would tell me, like, how sad I was and how it was depressing to be around me, and they were afraid to be around me because of, like, how emotional I was, how sensitive I was. And, you know, I grew up with narcissists, okay? I know a lot of people say that, but, like, I really did. I mean, people would come to my house and they couldn't believe that I could stand living there. I'm like, well, that's why I use a lot of marijuana. And, it helped me to cope, but it also helped me to understand, like, that it really wasn't my fault. And it also wasn't their fault either. Because I think that a lot of people that are more narcissistic, it's just because of how they're raised. And, I mean, really, though, you have to have empathy for that. Because if somebody is a narcissist, they really don't have the choice. Because their frontal lobe's messed up. And that might be messed up from abuse, or that might be messed up from, like, cultural shit. And that they're not going to ever break out of that, dude. They're not going to ever fucking break out of that. So you need to break out of this mindset of, like, woe is me. It's not fair that they talk to me like that. It's not fair that they treat me. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Go drink or some shit. I'm a firm believer that substances can help you figure things out. Maybe that's just with self-awareness, though, I guess. I have a lot of self-awareness, so, like, I was able to figure out a lot of stuff. Like, even with psychiatric drugs, I figured out how self-destructive I was. But, yeah, you don't really see a lot of people doing that. It seems they just use drugs and alcohol to turn off their consciousness, but I could never do that. I just turned it all the way up. But still, you know, there were things that were muddled, very confusing because of, like, you know, Zoloft, Lexapro, escitalopram, lithium, Buspar, Risperdal. What was the other one I was on? Celexa. I don't know. I think about this kind of stuff and it, like, it makes me sick, but at the same time, it's like, you know, like, you would be where you are today if it weren't for all these bad things that you've done, you know? And God saw me through all that stuff. But I'm one of the lucky ones that realized how bad that stuff was and got away from it, you know? A lot of these people don't realize that ever. And by the time they do realize it, like maybe 10, 20 years later, it's like their brain's already fucked up. That's the thing, man. I am in recovery with a bunch of people that got sober way later in life than I did. I got sober at 25. And I recognized how bad alcohol was for me from the jump. But I had to fuck up a lot of shit in order to give it up. And it's not even a question whether I can do that shit again. I know it's always an option, but it's really not. It's really not. So, I don't feel the same way about other things, but I know that like I really have to be careful with other things, and not because it's going to lead me back to alcohol, but just because I'm a compulsive person. You know, there are a lot of people though that if they did other drugs, they would go right back to the alcohol because they can't control themselves. They don't have the kind of self-awareness that I do. I don't need to constantly like go to meetings and be surrounded by other people that call themselves alcoholics to remind myself that I can't do that. I know that I can't fucking do that. And I think that's really fucking weird that people forget that they ruin their life with a particular substance. Like, that's just crazy. But like, I guess they call it a disease for a reason, right? The brain disease. I think they're just narcissists. No, really, I think that there's some sort of narcissistic element to some obsessive compulsive thing where you like just tell yourself that, oh, eventually this is going to work out. It's kind of weird. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. But anyway, what was I saying? I was making an important point about alcoholics. It was about something else I was saying. Fuck, I don't remember what it was. Sorry, I just saw a police officer. Still got the I got drugs in the car mindset. Like, oh shit. No, but I think I was talking about like giving it up, like completely giving it up, and knowing that yeah, it's not ever gonna be like that ever again. You know, like I never really enjoyed alcohol anyway. It was just a way for me to black out. It just made sense to drink a lot, you know? It wasn't like a case of like, oh, this is fun. You know, I never really got that out of it. Damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say. This makes me so mad. I'll watch the video and I'll remember. And I'll put a little asterisk what I was fixing to say. Oh, but I know I was talking about like the way that I used to be in relation to you know, being a depressing person and just really negative all the time. And I'm not that way anymore. I mean, I can still be very dark and very cynical and everything, but I have stuff that I really enjoy doing, and I don't know. I never thought that I would get to this point where like I don't mind living my life.